Doing great, I hope.
Very good.
On days like today, how are we doing in the markets? ETH is down, Solana is up, so basically a regular day. Well, I really do want to dive into it, but first, I want everyone to give a warm welcome to George, our head of ecosystem. George, how you doing today?
I'm doing really good, everybody. Appreciate you having me. Another exciting week in crypto, as always. Always some sort of prices, giant rug, something like that, with Ohm this past weekend. But yeah, doing great, and looking forward to chatting with everyone.
What do you think of what happened?
Honestly, and I think I saw, was it CoffeeZilla was talking to one of the founders. Honestly, I think they had future token unlocks, so they spoke with market makers and they basically sold them the private keys or a portion of those token unlocks, so that the market makers likely had the rights to sell future tokens, and that gave them basically enough asset leverage or guarantee to just sell down on futures or perpetual swaps. So I think it was something along the lines that there was a private deal made even without the exchange of physical tokens. But yeah, I think a future unlock. Sometimes I've heard of people selling like their private keys or their wallet to other people or to other funds. So I think it was probably one of those deals.
Why did they do that? Is it so it's technically not selling tokens, like a legal thing?
Well, it's kind of like a claim. You kind of have you get to claim that future token unlock. So like if I'm the market maker and maybe I have $10 million or whatever, $25 million, and you're gonna sell me whatever, 20 to 30 million or 50 million worth of your token, that gives me a lot of confidence to start selling perpetual swaps now. It's kind of like people in like oil derivatives or gasoline futures. Just as far as managing inventory, if they think that there's going to be like a decrease in price next quarter or 2 quarters from now, they'll sell gasoline or whatever, propane, crude oil futures to help save their company money. But I have a feeling they did the same thing now. They were kind of the team was in a good spot and they wanted to kind of capture their profit now rather than wait till later. What do you think?
Um, I think the timing is really interesting. Them having a conference, a few hours after all of this happened. I haven't had a chance to look at the CoffeeZilla interview. I'm sure that's enlightening, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was another, you know, dump. Or the other, I think, narrative out there is that there was this proportion of tokens in this other BTC Fi asset class or ETF that somehow caused a positive feedback loop and a lot of liquidations, careless stuff like that. I'm not really sure, but it's what, between incompetence and greed, right? Always one of those two.
Yeah. I guess wasn't there an investor with like $46 million worth as well? I think they moved it to OKX. But these
Yeah.
markets are illiquid as well. So I think I had put out a tweet and a lot of people were like 6 billion evaporated. And I'm like, guys, there was never $6 billion worth. Like there just wasn't.
I
Um
saw that.
that
It's a good tweet.
these markets are really inefficient, but there wasn't like $6 billion that was extracted from the market. There was realistically probably like 30 or 40 or 50 million max between all the exchanges and whatever DEX liquidity was available. So nature of
For
the beast.
anyone
It's
that,
like that every cycle.
yeah,
Sorry,
there's
go ahead.
always one every week, pretty much.
Yeah.
We're talking about the crash 90% in an hour for anyone who's just joining us. But I think I jumped the gun a little bit. We got to give you a proper introduction, George. Maybe you can tell us about your illustrious trading history and why the people should listen to you on all things charts.
Yeah, sure. Again, so I'm George. I'm head of ecosystem. It's good to meet everyone. I've been in the industry for 8 years. So I got started like most people. It was kind of just something to do on the side. Granted, like I'd always had an interest in stocks, and I was gonna go whatever, work on Wall Street, something in investment banking, and then crypto had always been in the background when I was like a teenager, and then I saw it in college, and I was like, wow, actually, like tokenomics, like this is like economic engineering. This could be like economic freedom. This is the industry to be in. So the moment like I saw that and that kind of like it all clicked in my head, I was like, this is all I'm doing. Like I'm not going to New York City. Like I'm going to be in financial technology. So like many people, I had a pretty easy, you could say, win, and I multiplied my portfolio probably by like 10, 20 or 30x unrealized. This was in end of 2017. And then I thought it was going up forever. I was like, Bitcoin's going to be $40,000 end of 2018. I'm going to be fine. And then it crashed, and I held all the way down to the bottom. A lot of alts, some Bitcoin and some Ethereum. And then through a friend of a friend, I got connected with somebody that was um, I don't even know what he was going to community college, but I got connected through a friend of a friend. He was trying to raise money and he wanted to do high frequency trading and capture arbitrage between other exchanges. And I looked kind of like at his documentation and his statistical projections. I was like, this looks great on paper. Like, maybe we should work together instead. We were both in college, so it's not like we had a ton of money. And that's what we did. We just started working together. We pulled some Bitcoin and BitMEX, they're the creator of the perpetual swap. So we used our Bitcoin as that sort of collateral and just compounded our sats. And we did that for about 4 years or so, and did a lot of volume, scaled a lot. So lo and behold, now here I am. I've done some other things, made some other angel investments, but I'm a big fan of technology, and I'm a big fan of having the best user experience, trading experience, for all kinds of traders, whether you're doing algorithmic trading or manual trading. And yeah, so I've been wherever you are in your process of your career, your trading journey. I've been there, and I've suffered a lot of losses. So yeah, but we'll all get there together.
I don't know if I've ever talked about my own trading history, but I go back to 2017 as well. I don't know if there's any Turkish listeners here, but apologies in advance. My first trade was shorting the lira, so I began in forex and yeah, spent a few years doing that. That was actually my most profitable trade. I heard about Bitcoin then, but I didn't touch it until a little bit later. Did some options throughout end of high school, COVID era, college, and that's when I really got into Bitcoin. I basically was super concerned about the M2 supply, 40% of dollars being printed between 2020 and 2021 over COVID, and was quite shocked by the monetary policy at that point, and was very very hawkish on any sort of inflation coming, and I made the correct prediction, and I used Bitcoin as my vehicle to deliver on that trade, and it went okay. It did not perform to the degree I wanted it to, but and I got more interested in the technology. I studied what I was trading, and after a few more years of that, so that's when I actually started the um, blockchain club at my college and did uh did some studying into what the actual fundamentals of blockchain are all about, and then started an early version of virtual labs back then. So I guess we're probably the two biggest traders on the team, so makes sense to have us on talking about trading here today.
What's your current strategy now? Is it more long term? Do you still do short term trading?
No time for short-term trading anymore, unfortunately. Um, yeah, back when I did it, it was my full-time job. Actually, there was one. So we had our final exams in at home because of COVID, and they had us like be facing the camera with Zoom so that you didn't cheat or whatever. And some deep out of the money calls I had on a SPAC. Do you remember the SPAC trade? Did you ever do that?
No, I never did.
So I had some options on this SPAC, and they they had like some, I think, like some big investor join, and so what I thought was basically worthless, I'd already written it off as a loss. The stock pumped like 20-30% in a day on Friday, the day of expiration, which was also when my exam was. And so I, still on Zoom in front of like the administrator, I did not even finish the exam. I was just trading while I was supposed to be doing it during this like 90-minute, look at the camera. And so like I'm like looking at like two monitors. They probably thought I was cheating or something, but I think all of their doubts were alleviated once I did not even turn in the exam and instead, made a ton of money instead. So I think that was the turning point when I decided to drop out of college and realize that this there were more important things. But yeah, I don't do that anymore. But I hodl. I hodl BTC and ETH mostly in crypto, and and I regret one of those two. I'll let you pick that. Pick one of those two.
Was that trade your biggest trade you've ever made? That example you just shared right there?
Probably was the Lira.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a big one though. I think that was like maybe 40K that one day. Not too shabby for a freshman.
Yeah. Yeah. I had a really big trade a couple years ago. I guess last cycle, what was it, 2022? It was like a 50x. It was probably one of my biggest trades. It was one of those where, I got in the habit of, all right, take a little off the table. But every time I took some off the table, it went higher. And then I took another a little bit more off the table and it kept going higher. I was like, dude, this is crazy. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to hold this. Like, this is going to go even higher. And then what did it do? It went down. And I was like, it'll bounce, it'll bounce. And then it went down further. And then it went down further. So I still made some money off that trade, but that was one of those trades where it could have been a massive win, and it was kind of like just a medium win. It was like everything I did, I was wrong. I took money off the table, it went higher. Then I decided to hold out, and then it went lower. Those are hard trades to get over. I think about it sometimes.
Inverse George Kramer.
Yeah. Dude, some people they say I set up a trade and then they do opposite of whatever they're planning. Yeah, I've met some people that do that.
That's a good hedge right there.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just looking at some questions that we had. Yeah, so I guess in your trading career and just now, what you've been building over the last couple of years, what's been a valuable lesson that you've learned that we might all, you know, learn something from as well?
Oh man, too many to count. I'll say I think what you did is great. To always take a little off the top. I mean, if you're at a point where you're at like a 3x, take your initial capital out, and then you're riding on the house's money at that point, and that's really what you usually want to do. So, I was actually I just came back from I was talking with a friend about this, and he was like, you know, as an exchange, you want like, people to use like the highest leverage as possible and this sort of thing. And I'm like, but we don't want people to get liquidated. This is not in our interest nor in the user's interest because this affects the stability of the exchange. We want people to be taking money off the top and making sure that their positions are solvent. So practicing unemotional, stone cold trading strategies, taking money off the top, managing your risk properly. It's no one specific trick. I think actually I'd like to hear what you have to say on that. But in general, it's yeah, just be fiscally responsible. There's no reason to blow up an account and put money that you wouldn't be comfortable lighting on fire, right?
Yeah, I'd agree. I've also blown up some accounts.
Okay.
Yeah, nothing crazy though. Like I would never say use your whole portfolio on a trade or with leverage if you have spots definitely easier. And then I would say if you're going to use leverage, like you want to do multiple buys because the chance is like the charts go up and down over the course of a day, over the course of whatever, a week or a month. So I've realized patience of getting into your trade too. Like don't force it. If you've got a certain price level, sometimes it's best to wait because you might want to buy that green candle, but when you buy the green candle, then the red candle comes right after. So yeah, so all I can say is patience. If you let the trade come to you, risk to reward tends to be more properly balanced.
What does the audience think? Any trading strategies to save our accounts? I'm curious what you guys trade to. Are we more majors or alts, meme coins? What do you all trade?
Just look at the comments.
I do.
Mastafan,
I gotta
Creed
open up the
Tech.
chat.
Hey guys, JV Vibes. What's up,
Yeah,
everyone?
guys, we need some energy here. I need to know what y'all are trading. Otherwise, how can we know what to offer you? George
I
and
need
and I and the team, we're having this.
I need alpha.
We need alpha.
Yeah, I came here
Going
for the
down
alpha, guys.
alpha
Near,
on the
yeah,
beta here. Last
ETH in
time.
2025 from Hunter. Yeah, yeah, that's a good one. I mean, how's ETH going to do this year? I think right now ETH it's just experiencing its max bud, but I think the narrative as soon as we see ETH start to bounce at some point, everyone will be like, "See, I told you so. I told you ETH wasn't dead." I don't have any price targets for Ethereum, but I'm pretty confident. We'll see a recovery one way or another. It's just it's been a hard hold. I totally feel you. I'm not holding that much anymore, coincidentally, just because it was I just got tired of dealing with it, to be honest. And once base chain died for me last year, I was like, all right, well that's enough for Ethereum. Like I do a bit of on-chain trading as well when there's a good little like narrative or you see some volume. But then yeah, base kind of got boring, so I kind of checked out. So that's my thoughts on Ethereum.
They say you can't time the market, and you were saying be patient. But I actually know the exact moment down to the second when ETH is going to pump, and that's when I decide to finally sell. So I will give you all some advance notice on that. Virtual Labs actually holds I think 55 ETH, so that used to be worth a lot. Uh, yeah, I mean I'm pretty not happy with this. Just looking at it today, I mean, I think Sol's up like 4% on the 24, and ETH's down like 1.5. It's like, damn. I don't know if it can get any worse, but it definitely can. Definitely can.
With that, then I guess like for the bull run, where are we? I know you have your theory.
Mm.
Is the bull run over, or are we in a new sort of whatever era of crypto and market cycles? Where are we?
I'm a big super cycle guy. So bull market, bear market, they're gonna come and go just like they do in the stock market. ETH will go up soon. That's what I need to hear. The reason I'm here is for you. This is the energy I needed to continue my day, Nam life. This is really good stuff. I'm gonna crack open a cold one after this and just imagine ETH riding to all-time highs. This is the energy I needed. Uh, Super cycle. bull market, bear market. Wait, I gotta. You guys see this?
Ooh.
Bull market, bear market. Where are we? Well, right now it's bear, but just like with stocks, with any other asset class, there's no asset class that has followed such a regular pattern for as long as crypto has, for Bitcoin specifically, for crypto at large. And I'm surprised it actually lasted as long as it did. The constant November, December highs, um, following the year after the halving. I think it was 4 times in a row, and that's simply like predictable markets cannot exist because if they're predictable, then traders will take advantage of that, and that in itself will influence the markets away from that pattern. And with the advent of the ETFs introduction in the US, there is no the halvings are no longer the largest liquidity source in Bitcoin. And actually, I wrote a thread about that, about how I think it was 100 billion is the impact of the halving now. So I think we're at 3.125 BTC, which amounts to around 100 billion a year. But the ETFs are 150 billion in inflows in the last 18 months. So they're no longer the largest liquidity event, and therefore their influence still there, still very significant. I think we've seen that, but it's not just going to be a regular boom and bust as it has been.
Yeah, I mean, the way I look at it, it's funny when some people say, "Oh, we're in a bear market," or I don't know what they say. But Bitcoin's up. Bitcoin's way high. So whenever the timeline gets bearish or really fearful, I'm like, dude, this is way better than last cycle or 2 cycles ago. Like we have everything we could have wanted. We have mainstream adoption. We have TradFi, accepting Bitcoin. Yeah, turning it into an ETF. We've got tokenized bonds. Like we've got everything we could have asked for. So for me now, I think I really just call it. We have like these boring seasons. We have these boring periods. The summer tends to be boring. I don't know what's going to come this summer, to be honest. But it just gets boring. It just chops. It just chops. And to be honest, if you're trying to trade, that'll really teach you to see who's how good of a trader you are. Sometimes when you look in hindsight, like last summer, Bitcoin was like the easiest channel. You could have traded this very simple parallel channel, and it just ranged. It ranged for like 5 to 6 months. So I don't think the bull run's over though. Long story short, I think we've just like it's law of diminishing returns now. So it's just more efficient. The cycles are more efficient. The pullbacks are less severe. If there's a black swan event though, don't get me wrong, things could get ugly. But I think even with sentiment now, we've kind of hit max fear. Who knows? Another headline could come out, and yeah, something tariffs, something geopolitical, and then we'll go back right into fear mode. But otherwise than that, I think we're doing all right.
Yeah, I think so too. I haven't sold for a reason. I'm a perpetual bull pretty much, but I really do think that I would say honestly, it's really interesting. You touched on this, the difference between sentiment and prices. Bitcoin is so high. Like I don't know what people are on about. I think the reason why CT is so down in the dumps is because no one holds Bitcoin. But the alpha is in this chat. Our community is smart. They are Bitcoin holders, and for that reason, they're at least a little happy. They have something to hope for because we're at 86 or 85,000, whatever it is. That's 15K off all time highs or 20K off all time highs. And we're 20K past the all time high of last cycle. We're in a very good position with Bitcoin. Yes, we haven't had an alt season, but I think pump.fun is part of the reason for that. I'm curious to hear what you think about that. And then for Black Swans, I'm also curious to hear what you think about Sailor and the concentration risk of him in Bitcoin. I tossed a couple questions your way. I'll let you pick and choose which thread you want to take up.
Well, I'll start with Pump.Fun because I was a big fan of DeFi. I'm still a big fan of I should say like the DGen DeFi activity that took place like summer 2020 all the way through most of 2021. I thought that was the most like creative finance period I've seen in crypto. and obviously that led to a lot of problems. But I thought that was a really fun time as well to be in crypto. That was another easy money period. I think Pump Fund, and I remember speaking with some like programmers or just builders over the last like year to 18 months. And some of them like, very talented, been in the industry for a while, maybe a full stack computer programmer. And their efforts were just basically going unnoticed while other like you could say marketing teams or inside cabals, they were pumping yeah, cats, frogs, whatever. I think that's great for retail interest. So I think Pump.Fun, they provided something that the market wanted, which was simplicity. So when we talk about onboarding the masses, that's what they did. They provided something super simple, a trustworthy tool so that you could create and deploy a token. You didn't even have to rely on some dev. You didn't have to rely on any sort of deployment or airdropping issue. Just the simple bonding curve mechanism. So some people said that was bad for the industry, but I think that's just part of entertainment. That's just part of retail fun, of pop culture. You're just always going to get chaos. Uh, so yeah, that was a tough market to trade. Meme coin's very tough. A lot of credit to Pump. I think they did great. As far as Sailor, I don't know. He's kind of become he's kind of like the Trojan horse right now, to bring in TradFi to do again creative financing. Um, I don't know what's going to happen. I know people are rooting for him to fail. There are definitely a lot of people that would love to see him basically be liquidated. I don't know what would happen. I think it would be catastrophic, though, to be honest.
Yeah.
So I do
That'd
think
be a
that's a
rough.
threat. I think that's a threat to price action for sure.
What's his liquidation price? Like, I think it's below 20K.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know if he wants to take a loss though, because what's his average entry? Isn't it like
He
69
can't get out.
thousand?
He has to take a loss. There's no buyers for how much he holds.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. And then there's like there's people that are doing covered calls now on him. There's people that are like buying MicroStrategy, and then there's some other like ETFs of MicroStrategy. So there's a lot of weird things going on. But I tend to kind of just like watch from afar. But yeah, as long as there's not a liquidation event, then I think we'll be all right. He's making money from the tariff. Creed Tech, crypto market's not worried about him. He's busy.
You mentioned Black Swan and tariffs filled the chat.
Yeah, right. Am I the only one low key worried about crypto now that Trump's in the office, or are we just pretending it's fine? I mean, there's always going to be people in office. They come and they go. You know, I think we'll be fine. Whatever, whatever keeps the markets moving. So as long as we don't have any, as long as we don't have any other black swan events, like a real black swan event, that would be the real problem. And then we have like emergency QE. So yeah, it'll be too late to sell then. If we get surprised with emergency QE, it's too late.
Yeah, that's a bit too late. By the way, good to see some familiar faces in the chat. Royal Prince, Creed Tech, Fook, and of course, Super Diwa. Hope you all are doing well. By the way, do you guys want some alpha? Can possibly throw a little alpha your way if you guys are in the mood for some alpha. What's the suit for? What suit? This suit. This is the VDEX merch. This is my suit.
False.
All right, guys. Alpha. So you mentioned MicroStrategy, George. I don't know if MicroStrategy is going to be possible because stocks are a bit harder. But do you want to talk about VDEX listing gold, uranium, and oil? I'm really curious to hear what our chat has to say about that. VDEX listing gold. this is a community decision. We sort of have a few different. We're gonna add everything eventually. VDEX is going to be the degens playground. Anything you want, any asset, any collateral, whatever you want. It's just a question of in what order we introduce that. More leverage is coming, more listings are coming, more chains are coming, more collateral is coming. I want to hear what you guys are most excited about. So the alpha is, yes, we will eventually be listing gold, oil, uranium, and eventually stocks as well. Those stocks are going to be trickier for legal reasons. But what do you guys want? What do you guys want next from VDEX to trade on? Well, we will be listing Jasmine's house. Yeah, I'm already in contact with your parents about that. So expect that soon. I already own 5%. List everything. Yeah, we'll be listing everything. We'll be a weird thing to list that people might actually buy.
Like Pokemon
Arizona
cards.
Ice stablecoin. $1 forever.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's markets for everything now. So even like collectibles, they'd say there's some people that they've tried to fractionalize, Pokemon cards or other collectibles trading cards.
True.
V Shark NFT
It's a
from
question
Jasmine.
of what everyone wants. Do you guys prefer that we list gold first? Like that should be like the next thing we do because it's cool and it's something to talk about. Or should we go to focusing on higher leverage? Should we say, okay, let's keep Bitcoin as Bitcoin and then maybe ETH and then Sol, but make it higher leverage? Or do we focus on collaterals? You guys want to have BNB as a collateral you can deposit into VDEX. What do you guys want? VShark NFT. NFTs in the form of soulbound tokens. Those are coming soon. I don't know if that's public yet. I think it is. But Jasmine will have some news for you there. TG stickers, yeah.
Only other assets.
George, what's your preference? If it's a choice, it's not a choice, but just short term between what do we want to do next?
I mean, for me, I think materials would be great. So yeah, uranium, lithium, gold, copper, silver.
Silver's a good one. Okay, wow, we got 4 for 4 on other assets. So it seems like the people do want RWAs, yeah. Bonds, we could tokenize, do perps on US treasuries. I don't know how well that would work, but we could do it. You want gold, all right.
I'd say one of the other things kind of related to VDEX, Jose, was are there any other updates you want to share or unique advantages? Yeah, any other like alpha or anything to share with the community right here?
I think this is a great transition to our live trading portion. So you guys continue to ask questions. Let's continue to see what we want. But I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna do some live trading. And in fact, George, I do have some alpha. So I want to point out something very specific. I gave you guys the teaser for the alpha that gold is coming, but that's just a teaser for a teaser because it's not here yet. But do you want to hear even more alpha? Something that is here, that is coming, possibly next week. Something very, very soon that's coming. Well, let me show you guys. Anyone have any guesses for what the alpha is? It's coming next week. I would say it's pretty big. It's definitely alpha, and it's also not public. This is all new to our special AMA community. I'm going to show you guys if MetaMask decides to cooperate with me. George, you know what it is.
For next week?
I think you do. Maybe you don't know
I
it's
think I
next
do
week,
too.
but it's coming. Anyone have any guesses? I haven't been looking at the chat.
No, Creed is asking for a hint. The Creed tech.
I'm just gonna tell you what it is. If MetaMask lets me in, let me in. Okay.
The Creed.
Welcome to
Go ahead.
VDEX, guys. Welcome to VDEX. I see trading competition. There are always going to be a trading competition. But the big update, I know this is going to be big for some of you, especially our really big traders, is that the update is right here. You see this right here, 3x leverage? Alpha is next week we're going to 5x leverage. So giving you guys a little bit of bump into what you're able to play with. 5x leverage, higher leverage, and we've heard you guys that that's the biggest thing you want. You guys want more assets, you want more listings, you want more chains. But the number one thing that I have heard is that you guys want more leverage. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I have heard that you guys want more leverage. So we are providing that to you. 5x leverage is coming immediately. 10x leverage is coming very, very soon. And so on and so forth, and higher and higher and higher. So sounds like higher leverage is indeed what you guys want. But for now, just 3x leverage. I'm gonna go on 3x leverage, and I'm gonna give the floor to George and the 10x leverage is gonna be big. What I'm curious, what guys what leverage do you guys trade at?
For me, 3x now. That tends to be my peak.
3x.
Bitcoin,
So
actually, I'm okay doing more on Bitcoin. 5 to 10x, I'm comfortable on Bitcoin. But alt,
okay.
I don't bother because, again, I've lost a good amount of money doing that with alts. So 100x, the Creed tech. That means you're a goat trader. You're a goat trader. Top 10.
100x is crazy. Yeah, 100x is a little ways away for us, but stop the cap. Oh man, I'm not saying anything. I'm only quoting the chat. Polkadot, Kidless dot. 100x. Yeah, I think that the reasonable end goal for VDEX leverage is 50x. I would say if we're at the end of 2025 and we're at 50x leverage, I'm happy. That's our good goal. 5x leverage next week, 100x by the end of the 50x by the end of the year, and 10 and 25x. Those will be other milestones we'll hit sooner rather than later, sometime in the next few months.
Creed tech, I know you can do 100x. I'm just curious, are you profitable? Or like, do you set type stop losses? I'm just, billions. Oh. Okay, you put stop losses.
How tight are they? I mean, with 100x leverage, you have to have like not 0.1% stop losses. So that's what, 86,000 to $86. You've 80 you've 2-digit stop losses, $80 away. Am I right? Muhammad's also on 100x leverage. Y'all are crazy. 100x leverage. The most I've ever done is 50x. What do you say we get some trading in the house?
Savages. Oh yeah, go for it. Let's see some trading.
What direction are we going?
Let me look at my charts.
I'm gonna guys give you a little bit of tour on zillions. Yes, zillions. While we come up with a consensus, Jasmine, maybe you can do a poll for long or short. I'm gonna give you guys a little bit of tour about how VDEX works. Maybe show you some features you haven't realized are there yet. Um, and we'll discover if we're going long or short today. But yeah, so here you are in VDEX. I've already entered my code. This is actually my personal wallet. See here in the order book, VMM is buying right now. VMM is $720,000 in long bid orders, 340,000 in short orders. We can go over here to look at the VMM. This is the VMM's position. So VMM you see now is narrowly net long, a little bit of a net long position. Many of you guys are big traders, so maybe you haven't actually gone over to the vault section. But I want to highlight this because if you're a passive trader and you want to, let's see, yeah, actually have a little bit in here. If you're a passive trader and you want to just park some capital, especially if it's a volatile asset, that's one of the things that VDEX, one of our big USPs, is that we take volatile assets such as ETH and Bitcoin at 100% par collateralized. So there's some other exchanges, Drift on Solana, and also centralized exchanges. They may take volatile collateral. Drift, I know, takes Solana at 80%. We take BTC and ETH at 100%. That means if you want to take one ETH, you're going to get $1,600 exactly as that collateral, which is pretty good because we're not selling that. It's not like we're taking the ETH, we're swapping it for you, and then you're getting stablecoins. No, this is no sale, no taxable event. You still get the upside of your BTC, and you can even leverage on that if you want. Creed is apparently big into leverage. Creed, if you want even more leverage, take your BTC, deposit it into VDEX, and then leverage up on BTC. So you have your spot BTC as collateral for your leverage BTC. You can do that if you want. Or you can even do the opposite. You do one BTC and then you short one BTC. So you actually have a delta neutral hedge. And that's pretty useful because shorting is often funding rate positive. So meaning if you have a BTC, you can just immediately short it and get the funding rate from it. Or if you want to limit your exposure, but you don't want to sell for tax reasons, I think that's pretty much speaking to the Americans in the room. That's something you can do too. No exposure, no taxable events, but you still have an effective sale of your assets. And you can do that not only in the leverage section, but also in the vault section. So you can deposit into. I'm going to do a deposit right now into the virtual market maker, which is going to get you access to yield. So you see, I deposited $100 earlier today. I've already made 50 cents on that, and I'm going to deposit some more right now. And what this does is it takes your capital, whether it's a stable coin in this instance or it's a volatile asset like BTC or ETH, it's going to take that collateral and it's going to make these orders right here. Like, where do these orders come from? The 700,000 long and 300,000 short. That comes from the virtual market maker through users like you that are putting capital in. And so I really wanted to highlight that because I think a lot of you guys maybe don't know it's there. And it's a pretty good way to get some passive yield. Of course, not risk free. The market maker can lose money, but it's generally expected to be pretty profitable. So I've just put in a 50 USDC there, confirming this now, and you just sit back, no worry about liquidation, and you can withdraw with 1 day notice. So it's actually an even tighter confirmation than some of our competitors, which ask for 3 day notice. Nope, you deposit and withdraw, pretty much whenever you want. Let's check the poll, shall we? 60% long, 40% short. Okay, so we have a narrow consensus that we're going to go long. All right, our entry price is going to be, we're looking at 84,500. I'm going to make this an isolated position, and I'm actually going to keep this position until next time we do an AMA, or maybe I'll give you guys an update on Twitter so we can see how this position did. How did chat do? I'm going to do a $750 position at 3x leverage, entering it around, okay, 84,628 is our expected entry price. And let's see how that compared. Yep, that's exactly what our expected entry price was. So the estimator was good. 84,628 entry price. Our liquidation price is 67,000. Chat, do we want to set a take profit stop loss? What do we think? $750 position, 250 margin, and let's zoom out here on the chart. George, what were your favorite technicals? What do you use?
One I've been using for years is by Lux Algo. They're pretty well known for their indicators. They have some free ones. They have obviously some like paid for packages, but one of their free ones is called the Watson envelope, and it's great. It's basically like a volatility and like mean reversion. So typically it's just a white arrow that pops up, but if there's extreme volatility to the upside or extreme to the downside, that tends if it gives off a signal, it's basically saying like expect a mean reversion. So if the price dumps severely very quickly and it goes outside the envelope, visually you'll see it go outside the envelope, but you'll also see an arrow, and it's like that might be a good time to buy. So I'd say that's one of my favorites. I'll type it up here in the chat for you guys.
Yeah, please share that.
I've been using it for years, and it's free. It's on TradingView. It's great. Macro fibs, I think that's great at times too, as well, but that's more just like looking at the cycle. But yeah.
We have TradingView here. This is the TradingView screen. Am I able to find it?
I don't know. Even with like probably not. Most
I'm just gonna draw some
centralized. Everyone that has like the TradingView window, there tends to be limited indicators that you can bring in. It goes for Binance or whatever, Hyperliquid, Coinbase. But
I'm just having fun. Bitcoin is good here, guys. This is the direction. Not financial advice, but this is the direction we're going. Well, that's an envelope. Interesting. All right, guys. I set the position 87,245 take profit, 84,000 stop loss. So we have not too much downside. So if we lose small. But if we win, we'll do pretty well. So, I want to show you guys. Wait, one more thing. You guys know that you can also change the margin you have for isolated positions. So if you want to add or remove, actually I can't. Yeah, I can't remove because it's already at the minimum. But I can add, for example, just a few more dollars here. So I only have 5 left in the account, but you can add as much as you want, and we can see how this affects the liquidation price. So we see 67,702 is the liquidation price. I add $5 more, and the liquidation price drops to 67,000. And I can actually take this right back out if I want. So let's see, I want the $5 for something else. I'm going to take I'll take $2 back out, and you see the liquidation price goes back up. So want to make sure you guys are aware of that for isolated positions. You get a lot of autonomy, flexibility on how you want to handle that. By the way, other features you guys want, I know there's been requests for more complex orders like time and force orders, like stop limit orders. We're gonna add that as well. You guys let us know, what do you want next? What are your favorite? If it's on the chart, if it's an order type, if it's like an asset like gold we were talking about. Whatever it is you guys want, you let us know and we will do it. All we need to know is your preferences. All right. What do we say?
That wraps up the questions I had, at least. Unless there's any other bug bounty or trading competition details you wanted to touch on.
That is exactly what I was going to say. I have nothing else to say. So unless Jasmine, you have stuff you want us to say about the competition. Okay, bounty details. I see that. All right, so we'll answer some of these questions about the competition and the bug bounty. But after that, it's over to the audience for any questions you guys have, and maybe we can actually bring you up on stage. And as long as your internet connection's good, I want we can have a conversation and maybe give us some advice on where you think the market's headed. Okay, details on the bug bounty. So bug bounty details. We are looking for you guys to tell us if anything is wrong. So we've already, I think, had some suggestions on where that could be. We're really looking for like financial related exploits. So anything that could be, for example, like a user can withdraw twice, or you're making a position and it isn't settling. These are the most severe items we're looking for. We do not expect to find any, but that's the reason we're advertising it with a high $5,000 paycheck. So we expect that we won't be finding any new super critical bugs, but there'll definitely be a lot of interface bugs, and those are important too. And we'll be sending out some capital for those who are finding that. But the real thing, what will allocate the biggest bounties to, so the higher end of the $5,000, anything plus 3, 4, 5,000, those will be allocated towards anything financial. So if you're able to withdraw multiple times, if somehow you're able to drain the contracts or whatever, again, we expect that this is not possible because we have been audited 3 times, and we've done a lot of testing ourselves. But that's why the competition is there in beta, so we have the opportunity to make sure everything is secure. Anything else I should touch on? A link for feedback. Link for feedback is a good one. Jasmine, maybe you can give some comments there, because right now we have the brainstorm section in Telegram. So if you're in our Telegram chat, by the way, anyone who is in this chat is invited to our VDEX Cabal Alpha chat on Telegram. So that's we have 10,000 in Discord. We only have a few hundred. I think actually less than maybe around 140, 150 in the Telegram. So it's a lot more exclusive. Anyone who is here is welcome to join our Telegram chat. So Jasmine will get you that invite. And we have to answer your question, Hila, we have a chat in there for brainstorming. So it's like a more of an interactive group chat. But we also could do a forum. So yeah, we have tickets on Discord. That's something you can always do as well. VDEX live on a new chain. That's a great question. Actually, that could be more alpha. I can't make promises to this one because it's not dependent on us. It's dependent on the chains and also our engineering team to do those integrations. But we should be launching on. I think we can say we're striving for a new chain launch early next month. So beginning of May, we should be live on. We're looking at actually BitLayer. BitLayer is a longtime partner of ours. We have a very good relationship with those guys, and they have $700 million in TVL, around that figure on the BitLayer chain. So a lot of users that love having Bitcoin, and of course, with our ability to take Bitcoin in leverage or for yield, that's a big really makes sense for us to be on BitLayer. So that'll probably be the next big integration. We're also looking for Nibiru. We have a big partnership with Nibiru as well. George and I both have friends going back from the Nibiru team, so we are really close with those guys. And then in general, the big ones: Arbitrum, Optimism, Base. Wherever you guys want us to go next, that's where we're going to be. What's the goal for VDEX Beta? The goal is to basically get to build our community, first of all, to interact with all of you, strengthen the cabal. We want VDEX and the larger virtual labs ecosystem to be a group of warriors that really believe in our vision. I've been doing this for a few years. George has been with us, and Jasmine also for. I think, yeah, Jasmine, you're coming up on a year now. We're really committed to this vision. It's VDEX, it's virtual rollups. It's this larger idea of how do we onboard retail and the mass markets by making it easier to use. I'm talking faster. I'm talking self-custodial. I'm talking no gas fees, 0 gas fees. And of course, I'm talking just in general a much better user experience. So that's our goal for the beta. We want to bring in the early people like you guys. Make sure you guys are well compensated for being so early. And also have you guys help us out on some of those things like the bug reports, making sure that we're fully secure. What beta means is that we have that 24-hour withdrawal delay. So if Bybit got hacked for 1.5 billion, if Bybit had the beta that we have in place, we have 24 hours to say, hey, that's malicious. Let's protect that. And that's what beta is about. And we want to make sure that we're fully secure so that we can eventually remove that and have you guys withdraw immediately. 0 gas fees. Ambassadorship program, yeah. I can't speak so much to that, but Jasmine, ask Jasmine. She'll be able to tell you. Jasmine and Eric. And Eric, I also see you in the chat. Hope you're doing well. They're running our ambassador program, so they'll be able to fill you in on the details. Anyone want to come up and ask questions or give advice? George?
Only advice I can say is just try to stay cool, calm, and collected. That's the only way this industry works. Otherwise, you're going to crash out and be like, damn, what am I doing? So, yeah, I'd say just keep learning, keep studying. If you like technical analysis and trading, like there's lots of great analysts out there. So, the best, I think also the best advice is your own trading advice. Other people's trading advice or analysis, that's probably still good, but it might be good for them. It might be good for their management, for their strategy, their experience. So you should still like consider what they're sharing with you. But when it comes down to it as a trader, like you should take your own trade. Like set up your own trade, set up your own levels, whatever, your take profit, your stop loss. That sort of discipline compounds to just being a better trader.
Well said. Trade responsibly, trade with leverage, make sure your positions are secure and not at risk of liquidation, and make decisions that are good for you. And trade without emotion too. A few more questions coming, but we're gonna wrap up here. Jasmine will get you your codes with a trading credit, so you guys can access VDEX, and through our thank you, a little thank you credit for you guys to trade on. And to sum up a little bit of the alpha, so we have 5x confirmed happening very, very soon. I believe next week we can expect 5x leverage to hit the scene, so look for that. And then we have on the next chain integration, BitLayer and Nibiru coming early next month, and more coming throughout the coming months. And maybe the most exciting of all, the listing of gold, uranium, and oil, and any non-stock assets. So Jasmine's house as well, I believe, was up there. And continue to give us your feedback, and also continue to tell your friends about VDEX. We'll actually have referral codes hitting the scene too, and that will be a big way for you guys to help us out and have that contribution reflected in your code and your badge, and that's a really important thing, because the way we're able to list more assets like gold, like oil, is by having more liquidity. So the more liquidity you guys bring into the virtual market maker, the more assets we are able to add. So there's your code. Jasmine just dropped it, VDEX-AMA2. I have nothing else to say, guys. It has been wonderful for our second AMA. We're going to make this, by popular demand, a recurring event. Oh, I see people are just joining now. Well, unfortunately, you've caught the tail end of it. But it will be available on our X at 0x VDEX on Twitter, so you guys can view the recording there, check out the code there, and continue to talk to us on Telegram. That's where I'm most active. I come to Discord as well, but Telegram I'm very active on. If you have any question, any feedback at all, you can drop me a DM, or you can directly tag me in the VDEX Twitter account, and for George as well. So maybe George, you can drop your Twitter, drop your Telegram, so people can come to you for their trading needs, and for me for any features.
Yep, I'm sharing that right now. And yeah, it was great to be on here. Great to meet everyone and chat. And yeah, crush it. If you need any help or any tips, I'm available as well.
We will give you all the trading advice you want as long as you trade on VDEX. That's the only condition. All right, all.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to see you guys a little bit later. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us, and stay winning. Bye, guys. See ya.
Later, everyone.